Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from CNN Politics written by Megan Vasquez. Now, this was published on May 22nd, and I got to say, CNN is really fucking scummy for this article here. Megan, you're a piece of shit. Trump deems house of worship essential amid pandemic. And they've got essential in quotes. Okay, religion is essential. All right, especially during times of crisis. It is where people find solace. It is where they find calm. It's where they find a mental center. All right. They are able to deal with situations better because of it. And you don't think that that's essential, especially during this time right now? How dare you? You know, with a name like Vasquez, I'm assuming you come from a family of Catholics. I hope someone who's still devout in your family smacks the ever-loving shit out of you for this. You know, in Minecraft, of course. You deserve to get the shit slapped out of you in Minecraft from a family member for this one. A name like Vasquez and you're pushing this shit. You should be, you know, even if you're a lapsed Catholic, you should understand this. President Donald Trump announced Friday that his administration is issuing guidance deeming places of worship essential, which you got to love in the title how they put it in quotes and how they're putting it in quotes here. It is essential. During the Wu flu pandemic, calling on governors to reopen religious institutions for services. Yeah. Trump threatened to override governors if they're override. He does have the power to go after them with the DOJ, by the way. That's what he's going to do. Take them to court as an override. Trump threatened to override governors in their states if their states did not follow the new federal recommendations, but it was unclear what authority the president was referring to. The recommendations are voluntary. Yeah, but there's a slight problem. If it's essential and they say it's open and they don't, yeah, they look bad and there's some legal issue. Beyond that, there's the fact of you're violating the Constitution and he can have Barr with the DOJ take up cases in federal court against you. That's what authority they have. Then when the federal courts rule, they can then use federal law enforcement to force fucking compliance. This is no different than, when you had busing going on and the federal government came in and said, yeah, we're going to mandate this shit happens. And when you're going, well, fuck you. You don't have the authority. You don't have the law. Well, same thing can happen in the note of religion. Did you ever think of that? Obviously not here, Vasquez. Some governors have deemed liquor stores and abortion clinics essential, but have left out churches and houses of worship. It's not right. So I'm correcting this injustice and calling the house of worship essential, Trump said during his announcement at the White House. And he's, I think, hit the nail on the head here. Yeah, you can go and Cuisinart your baby in a late-term abortion, all right, but you can't go to a church and pray, What kind of a society says that you can murder an unborn baby, but you can't go and, practice your religion? That is some seriously sick and twisted shit. Society has gone upside down, inside out, and we're in some bizarro, fucked up, whacked out world where, you're a big bad person for wanting to, you're an evil bad person for wanting to go to a church, okay, and practice your faith. Or a synagogue, or some other religious location. You're the complete scum of the earth. But a baby murderer is A-O-fucking-K. And I'm surprised that they took this quote and used it, because that should give you a fucking reality check when he's pointing that out. And it doesn't make the left look good. Trump said he was calling upon governors to allow churches and places of worship to open right now. If there's any question, they're going to have to call me, but they're not going to be successful in that call, Trump added. Yeah, because he'll just say, all right, we're going to have the DOJ take it to court. And they will prevail. Constitution. First Amendment. Freedom of religion. This is a restriction upon religion. It violates the Constitution. Real easy fix. Go to court. I mean, that's what happened where, oh God, Is it Wyoming? What state is it that all their order got thrown out? Their orders, like shelter in place and everything, and it was because of the churches and the bars opened up, which I find it ironic that the bars opened up. But yeah, if it'll prevail there, they'll prevail on the federal court level with this. I mean, this is ridiculous. The governors need to do the right thing and allow these very important essential places of faith to open right now, this weekend. If they don't do it, I will override the governors, he continued. Later in the briefing, White House Wu-Flu Task Force Coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx and White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany underscored that reopening was at the discretion of governors and religious leaders. Right, so if the churches want to open up, they should have that right. Governors shouldn't be telling them, you can't be open. If the church decides to do that, the congregation decides to stay closed or open up, the federal government has no say, no authority on what happens with that church. First Amendment, freedom of religion. I think each one of the leaders in the faith community should be in touch with the local health department so they can communicate with their congregants. Certainly people that have significant comorbidities, we want them protected. I know those houses of worship want to protect them, Birx said. Maybe they can't go this week if there's a high number of Wu-Flu cases. Maybe they wait another week. But there is a way to social distance in places of worship. And the thing is you know what? They don't even want them having outside services where they're 6 feet apart or in their cars or anything like that. So this has nothing to do with social distancing. This has to do with these butthurt lefty fucking spark bitches, okay, wanting to attack religion. When you can't even sit in your own goddamn car with your windows up and have a pastor hold a religious service, there's something wrong. You don't have any exposure. You're on your own little bubble. You're like the boy in the fucking bubble, mind you. But you can't do it. That has nothing to do with safety, you know. That has nothing to do with health, you know, on the note of the public. That has to do with you will do what I say and you will fucking like it. This is an attack from the left on those fundamental things that the Constitution is supposed to protect. Because they want to see how far they can push things. Because if they can weaken freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly, all right, all the others, they're fair fucking pickings. Because they're like, well, we've already weakened the Second Amendment, but we've never been able to get those things that are protected under the First. Now they're going after those things. McEnany asked about Birx's response, said the decision to reopen based on the new federal guidance is up to the governors. McEnany would not explain what authority Trump would use to override governors' decisions to keep places of worship closed. It's called the DOJ will take them to court. The new guidance released by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Friday recommends religious institutions provide soap and hand sanitizer, encourage the use of cloth masks, and clean their facilities daily if they want to open while Wu-Flu is still spreading. These institutions should also promote social distancing and consider limiting the sharing of objects such as books and hymnals, the CDC said. Yeah, take some precautions, shouldn't be fine. I mean, this is like you wash your hands and shit like that, relatively okay. The guidelines also offer leeway to organizations to make their own decisions about what they should do to limit the spread of the virus, and the guidelines are described by the CDC as general considerations, suggestions, and non-binding public health guidance for consideration only. They do not mandate that houses of worship open on Memorial Day weekend. Okay, Trump never said that was a mandate. I love how Vasquez here is trying to slip it in like Trump was saying it was mandated they have to open. He's just saying if you don't allow them to open, you're going to start seeing the federal government come down on your ass. A senior administration official told CNN that the guidance has been initially delayed because some officials believed the proposals were too detailed and would be impossible for churches and others to achieve. There was also talk of putting out no guidance at all on religious services, but Trump had conversations with CDC officials and urged them to issue something. Well, they can't issue orders because you cannot dictate how someone worships. So they can give suggestions, things for your consideration, but they can't tell you this is how you will worship your God. Does not work like that. Constitution says does not work like that. The White House Wu Flu Task Force finalized the guidance during a meeting on Thursday, the source said. The president referred to the conversations with CDC officials on Thursday, telling participants and the press at a listening session with African Americans, I said, you better put it out. Okay, so he wants the conversations out there. All right. I spoke to CDC today about churches. We got to get our churches open. We got to get our country open, he said. Yeah, and we need to do that. People need solace right now. Religion provides that for a lot of Americans. I mean, I'm a lapsed Catholic. I'm more an agnostic, but I understand and respect this. I've seen how religion has an effect on people. As Trump has pressured localities and states to reopen amid the Wu flu pandemic, he's put a particular weight on the reopening of places of worship because religion is necessary for a lot of people to have proper mental health. He said in April that it would be beautiful for churches to be open and packed on Easter Sunday. He later said the date was aspirational because it was. He did not make it. We have to be open at that point. Ahead of Easter Sunday, he advised faith leaders to wait for the country to get healed from the Wu flu pandemic before holding services in person. But more recently, the president has lamented that digital religious services aren't the same as in-person ones. They aren't. Part of the whole worshiping thing is to do it in that particular environment because the environment is part of the experience. People want to be in their churches. It's wonderful to sit home and watch something on a laptop, but it can never be the same as being in a church and being with your friends. And they want to have it open. And I think that's going to happen very shortly, Trump said during Thursday's listening session. Yeah, this is what scares them. See, they don't want shit opening up. They want everything closed. They want to attack religion, and they want everything closed. They want people in fear. They don't want people to come to grips with the situation and weigh out their risk factor and decide, I want to live my life. I don't want to be locked up at home. They don't want that to happen. They don't want people to start, going back to normalcy and they want that anxiety up there. And religion helps to relieve the anxiety of society. I mean, I don't like Marx, but to an extent, not the way he meant it. Religion is the opiate to the masses on the note of it can calm them. Historically, it has placated people. I mean, you look at how the Catholic Church conspired with, the European royalty. They used religion to keep people in line. I mean, when you saw the Church of England form, the king, he used the Church of England a similar way. But I mean, at that point, more people were literate, so it was harder. But yeah, religion has been used to placate the people. But in this day and age, they want the government to do it. And religion is the place where people can find their solace and deal with a situation like this. They want people scared. Large gatherings like those in house of worship have been linked to clusters of Wu flu. Actually, we really haven't seen that, but hey, whatever. I mean, there hasn't been, reports on that. I don't see people beating that like a dead horse. If there was a lot of that going on, you would be beating it like a dead horse. So whatever. This month, 2 churches in Northern California linked the spread of a Wu flu among church members and clergy to Mother's Day service. Are you sure? How many people were infected? Can you literally say, yeah, we know for a fact it was that church? A Texas church recently canceled its masses after one of its priests died and 5 others subsequently tested positive for the Wu flu. Well, okay, the priest was probably old. I feel bad, Hopefully he ain't a diddling priest and he's up in heaven. But age is a factor, so are other things. The Southern Baptist Convention said Friday it was pleased with Trump's decision. But the Interfaith Alliance and Council of American Islamic Relations said Friday that they opposed the call to open places of worship amid the pandemic. Well, of course, the Council of American Islamic Relations, a terrorist fucking supporting organization, an organization that itself should be labeled as a terrorist organization. It funds terrorism. It supports terrorists, okay? They've been ignoring, the Islamic community has been ignoring these fucking rules. They've been doing their own fucking thing. They've been going to their mosques. They've been worshiping. They've been doing all that shit. The only people who have been fucking complying are Christians. Of course, the Council on American Islamic Relations would be perfectly fine with this when that is pretty much the fucking case. So yeah, good example, you dumb bitch, Vasquez. Yeah, the people who are ignoring it, that are going to their mosques and worshiping every fucking day, yeah, when they're saying, oh, we're for this shit to continue. Yeah, it's a good example to give. Yeah, put some hypocrites out there. Of course. CIR said that American Muslim scholars and community leaders have already determined that public religious activities will be restricted due to the pandemic, and that is unlikely to change despite the new guidance. Yeah, okay, bullshit. Okay, why are people going to mosques? Why is the Islamic community in this country not social distancing amongst your own little in-group there? Please explain that one. I mean, this is the bullshit they're pushing. Well, hey, you Christians, let's throw the Council of American Islamic Relations in on the end and say, oh, well, they're for it, even though the Islamic community isn't following it and they're still going to their religious services. And say, oh, well, all you Christians shouldn't go to church. I mean, this is an attack on religion. I'm not a religious person myself. I mean, as I said, I'm an agnostic. I'm a lapsed Catholic that leans that way. And I understand and respect where religion's place is in society. I'm not some religious fucking nutbag, saying my religion, saying that this shit that they're trying to push here, this attack on religion, is, an attack. And it really is. No, this is an attack. This is someone who is not religious saying that. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.